High above the clouds on the peak of eternal ember, the world's most terrifying alliance was forged in silence. Ignis, a dragon whose scales were the color of cooling lava, sat motionless while a massive Bengal named Kalen paced across his wings. To any distant observer, it looked like a king and his loyal general. The story had gone viral across the lower lands. The beast of the earth and the god of the sky have united. But the hook wasn't their friendship, it was the visual anomaly. Kalen the tiger didn't have fur on his paws anymore. They had turned into blackened obsidian claws from treading on the dragon's searing heat. The world wondered, what could possibly be worth the agony of standing on a living sun? The official story, told by the mountain spirits, was that the tiger hunted the great elk that the dragon was now too heavy to chase, and in exchange, the dragon shielded the tiger from the glacier blight, a mystical, freezing fog that killed any warm-blooded creature. It was the ultimate social currency story, a tale of mutual survival. But deep in the night, when the winds howled like dying wolves, the dialogue changed. Kalen the tiger didn't bring elk to the dragon. He brought offerings of bitter root, a paralyzing herb. He wasn't feeding the dragon to keep him alive. He was sedating him. The tiger was a parasite in a striped coat, slowly turning a god into a living pantry. Suspense mounted when the tiger discovered the dragon's pearl, a glowing orb embedded in Ignis's forehead that controlled the weather of the entire continent. Kalen the tiger knew that if he could pry the pearl loose, he wouldn't just be the king of the mountain, he would be the master of the seasons. However, the pearl was bonded to the dragon's heartbeat. If the heart stopped too fast, the pearl would shatter, plunging the world into a permanent ice age. Kalen had to be a surgeon of betrayal. He had to keep Ignis just alive enough to keep the pearl glowing, but too weak to puff a single spark of defensive flame. The emotional tension spiked when a third player entered, a small, flightless phoenix who served as the dragon's historian. She saw Kalen the tiger sharpening his obsidian claws against the dragon's vulnerable underbelly scales. Instead of killing the bird, Kalen the tiger did something far more manipulative. He convinced her that the dragon wanted to die. "He is tired of the centuries, little bird," Kalen the tiger purred, his voice like sliding gravel. "I am not his killer, I am his mercy. Help me remove the pearl, and he can finally sleep." The phoenix, torn between her ancient loyalty and the tiger's honeyed lies, began to weep tears of fire, a sign that the betrayal was now infecting the innocent. As the blood moon rose, a rare celestial event that weakened dragonkin, Kalen prepared the final incision. The air grew thin and cold. The tiger's plan was detailed and comprehensive. He would use the phoenix's fire tears to cauterize the wound as he cut the pearl out, ensuring the dragon's heart kept beating for the transition. The suspense was suffocating. The audience could almost feel the heat of the dragon's breath and the coldness of the tiger's heart. Every creature on the mountain held their breath as Kalen unsheathed a single long claw, positioning it right above the dragon's third eye. Just as the claw touched the scale, the sedated dragon opened one massive golden eye. He didn't roar. He didn't burn the tiger to ash. Instead, he spoke in a voice that sounded like tectonic plates grinding together. "Do you think you are the first, Kalen?" The tiger froze. Ignis, the dragon, revealed that for 10,000 years he had allowed a different predator to betray him every century. The dragon wasn't the victim, he was a vessel. The pearl wasn't a source of power, it was a cage for a primordial demon that required a corrupted soul to feed on. Ignis wasn't being sedated by the tiger, he was luring the tiger into becoming the next prison. The betrayal flipped on its head. The tiger, who thought he was the mastermind, realized he was actually the prey. The dragon's weakness was a carefully crafted performance, a viral bait designed to attract the most ambitious and cruelest heart on the mountain. As the blood moon hit its zenith, the pearl didn't come out. It began to leak into the tiger's paws. The obsidian claws that Kalen was so proud of began to grow up his legs like vines, turning his flesh into stone. The tiger tried to scream, but his lungs were filling with hot ash. He wasn't becoming a god, he was being consumed to recharge the dragon's battery. The transformation was not instantaneous, but a rhythmic, pulsing agony. As the stone vines crawled up Kalen's muscular legs, he felt his connection to the earth, the very thing that made him a tiger, withering away. Every time the dragon's pearl leaked its dark light, Kalen's heart skipped a beat, syncopating with the dragon's own ancient rhythm. The viral hook here is the visceral loss of self. The tiger, once the swiftest hunter in the Iron Mist Peaks, was becoming a stationary monument. He realized with a jolt of horror that the dragon wasn't just using him as a battery, he was merging their nervous systems so that the tiger would feel every century of the dragon's upcoming slumber.